Hey, good
Hi,
morning,
Professor.
everyone. Hey, how are you, Monique?
I'm okay. Yourself?
Good, good, I'm good. How are you, Mohammed? Mohammed, are you there? Alrighty, so I guess Mohammed is probably temporarily offline, or no, I don't think, I mean, I can check. Oh, his connection is very good. Mohammed's connection is very good. He's probably doing something else, but, which is not allowed, actually. Okay, and you may have already received your graded homework 2 back. And for some people, it may be a surprise, it may be a shock. For some people, it has been expected. And if you have already submitted, I mean, in the past, if you had submitted homework 1 and got the graded homework 1 back, it shouldn't be a surprise. You should really, I make a very meticulous comment. It takes a lot of time for me to actually grade, because all those comments I have to, I make it with, really a lot of, efforts and time. So, and those who were doing well in the first homework consistently did well in the second. And some people, but, obviously some changes, some people who did well in homework 1 didn't do well consistently in homework 2, or the other way around. Uh, and I make those comments, as I said, it takes so much time. It takes so much time and effort uh, to make, those comments. So you must read it. Otherwise, my efforts are wasted. My time and efforts are simply getting wasted if you don't read the comments, and you're supposed to reflect my critique in the next homework. And some people didn't, I don't know if they even bothered to read those, comments. But by the way, you must have noticed that the homework midterm midterm is now available. Midterm is on.
Professor, I saw that is available for 2 days.
Yes, but no, that's just a window. Yours,
Oh,
you read the instruction, right? It
yeah. I
says,
started reading and then I got confused. I was like, is it short? I thought it was a typo error, and I was like, oh, did he mean
no, no, no,
actually?
no, no. No. Um, you have only you have 2 hours, right?
Right.
In those 3-day window, okay?
Mhm.
So, and the instruction is clear because, in the announcement and also in the, okay?
Okay.
Uh,
Hold on.
the test runs for 120 minutes.
Right. I saw that.
Okay? So you can choose, basically that 2-hour time frame within this
Mhm.
3 day. Just pick the best time for you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And once started, you should finish it in one sitting because in once the 120 minutes are up, it's going to be automatically submitted,
Mhm.
right?
All right.
Okay. And you would find it, quite challenging. Um, okay, Monique. Since I'm sharing my screen, I think you would be. You can see this too, but no. What did you get, Monique? All righty. I haven't posted any results just yet because I will post it only after um, the midterm is over. And so you will see all your attendance and you will see, homework one, homework two results, also with midterm results and the weighted average of all of that, including the attendance and participation points. Now I have, let me just stop sharing for a while because it might, because it's going to reveal everything. That, let's see. Stop. Where is that thing? Okay, stop sharing and all righty. I'm trying to show you how it is being done. Um, all right, so maybe I can share. Maybe I can show the screen again. No, no, not show camera. Show screen. All righty. Now, so I think it's only Monique now. Mohammed is not. Apparently, he's not here. Mohammed, are you here now? Are you here, Mohammed? Looks like Mohammed, and it looks like one person is joining. Jimena, I think Jimena is joining. Yeah. How are you, Jimena?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you? Are you still in Indiana?
No, I'm back in New York.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. Well, I guess traveling, during this pandemic is a hassle unless you drive. Um,
Yeah, we
what
drove
time?
there. It was
You did?
terrible. Yes, it was like 14 hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to drive, back in the days. I used to drive almost half the continent
Oh, wow.
between Chicago, New York, and Chicago, back and
Hmm.
forth. Um Now, so I just tried to. Okay, so you see this Excel file. This is your, I, it's listed only by your student ID, and this is your participation, attendance and participation points so far. And then again, this is um, uh, there's no grade just yet. This was just automatically put in there, and this is not none of this after column N is not this semester's results, so you don't have to bother with that. So basically, this is sorted sorted to from the highest to the lowest. You can check by your student ID. You see, so currently, uh, you see there is no, the midterm result isn't yet, midterm result isn't there yet because you haven't taken midterm yet. But you can tell, the date, whatever is, here, from column O to the right, aren't this semester's result. Okay, so it was, when I copied my previous semester, it just tagged along. And this too is because, formula for grading is automatic already put in there. And then, so anyway, so this is, you see a lot of people currently, a lot of people, as you can see, a lot of people fail to submit. Wherever there are zeros, that means, these people fail to submit homework 2. And keep in mind, each homework is 8% of your semester grade. Okay, each homework is 8%, because 5 homeworks are 40% of your semester grade. So the more you miss it, it just piles up. It doesn't do any good, right? So these people have missed already 16% of their semester grade, and it's very difficult to recover it no matter what you do. 16%, right? Unless they do very well in the participation. This person haven't submitted any, but at least racked up enough participation points. This person also racked up a lot of participation points, but this person has done well so far. And look at the average. These are the averages, right, of each homework. In the second homework, it went down more because there are more people that didn't submit the homework 2. So these zeros brought down the averages. And think about it. If you're, and the majority among those who submitted, the majority is above the mean. So generally, people who submit the homeworks are doing okay. Now, so this will be later, I'm gonna, so as you submit the homework, the midterm, then that roster file will be updated and it will be posted, and it will that it will be posted in the assignments folder. But again, you still have 3 more homeworks, which are like then what, 24%, and then still final after that, still final. So that's 40, 25, 25. So 24 and 25, that would be almost like 49%. After the midterm, you will still have 49% left, 49% of the data left to build your grade in this class. Okay, so I think that's enough of that. Let's see, let me go back to no, not here. So I would like to, do you have it? I would like to take a question since, the midterm is on already. Instead of, just, reviewing I mean, we still have a lot of things to review because last time we just finished up uh, future value of annuity, uh, and we still okay. I need to talk about the present value of annuities. But it was already done. It's nothing. It's not like we are doing anything new. It's already done. We are just to remind you, we are, as far as the lecture uh, progression of the lecture is concerned, we are already into this, right? August 9th, actually today's lectures are these two. So that means we are already done with the financial statements. Okay, I've been telling you over and over that collaborate session is not the class. The class, the real class is real lecture is delivered by these videos, right? On the scheduled dates, right? On the schedule, according to that schedule. So these are already, done. I mean, we are like weeks behind, at least like 2 weeks behind. I mean, this collaborate session is like weeks behind. So actually, we got, you should be caught up all the way to this point, right? Ratio analysis part 3. And then, since, oops, pricing and overhead, right? This has been just assigned today, right? Let's see, this was from just today, and will go on until it's 5 days from today, right? So as of now, as of this point, you should be all at least all caught up, right? At least up to this video, right? And it's gonna be, let's see, this was posted there last Thursday, right? And will be there until today's what? Oh, today's the 9th. It will be there only until tomorrow, 5 days, right? Again, if you haven't, if you missed this, window, then you can find it all in this channel, right? In this playlist, this is my channel, and this your class is here, right? And it's quite intuitive, you're in CUNY, BMCC, BUS210. So, and the financial statements, you will need to look into this. Okay, I've been telling you they are cross-listed, right? Cross-listed. I don't have to put them all, upload them all, in every playlist. It's basically uploaded once and just, cross-listed. And all the financial statements videos are in here, FMB 230. Okay, you gotta find it. All right. So let me, unless you have any questions, let me continue with the rest of the time value of money examples, right? Now, so the next thing, okay. Before I move on to, are there any questions about the? Are there any questions about homework 2 or about the midterm? Hmm? I have only 5 people in here, and I don't know if Hannah, do you have any questions? Hannah, are you there, Hannah?
I'm here, but no, not right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You got your graded homework 2 back, right?
Yeah, I did.
Have
I
you
did.
checked it out?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Mohammed, are you there, Mohammed? I guess not. Monique is here. Jimena is here, I believe. Monique and yeah, Jimena, you got your graded homework
I
2
did
back, right?
last night. Yes.
Yeah, Monique, you got it back, and Jimena, you got it back. I probably early today, right? You guys have any questions? Jimena is, I guess, being disconnected. Or are you there still, Jimena? Okay. So, as I said, I made very meticulous comment, and you got to read that comment, right? And because it takes a lot of time. I mean, um, for me, this is a very stressful thing. It's a toil, really. It's a toil, right? During the regular semester, the class has 25 students at least, and I go through at least on average, at least 20 students submit the homework, and I go through all that. It takes me almost the whole week, to make all those comments. So it's a lot of work and a lot of toil. Uh, also,
Professor?
yeah. Hi, Sarah. Yeah.
Hi, Professor. Actually, I'm in Africa right now, so I'm afraid I'm going to have any problem with the midterm exam over here.
I don't know. I mean, as long as you have internet connection, you can do it, and you have 3-day window.
Okay.
Did you read the instruction? Huh?
Yeah.
You have, if you read the instruction, you have 3-day window, and you will need to find 2 hours out of that 3-day window, right? You'll need to find the best 2 hours that can be, most convenient 2 hours for you. It should be, a quiet, comfortable 2 hours. I mean, 2 hours that you won't be interrupted or disturbed by anything or by anyone. Okay, and of course, what's important is, your connectivity must be maintained for those 2 hours, because um, you have only 120 minutes in one sitting, so you must submit it. You must take it within one sitting and submit it within that 120 minutes. If you get disconnected, it's a problem. But that's why you should get a head start. You understand? If you get disconnected, then I can reset it, but you gotta send me an email. I wouldn't know if you got disconnected or not. But when you send email, it better be early on, because there's a good chance it may not get um, discovered. And don't send it to my BMCC email. I've been telling you over and over. My BMCC email, it's not only me. Everyone is affected by this, automatic uh, glitch or something, because all the Blackboard related emails are automatically going into my junk mail folder. And if it goes into the junk mail, um, there is a plethora of junk mail. I cannot, go through all of them. And they get, periodically deleted. So your email won't be discovered. That's why I gave you my Yahoo Mail. You send it to, and you got to do it early on, because if you don't procrastinate. If you procrastinate to the last minute, and on Wednesday around midnight, if you have a problem, you got disconnected, or you have technical difficulty. But if you send me email at like 11:45 p.m. Wednesday night, that's no good. Just a common sense, right? It doesn't. I'm not watching it, 24 hours. I'm not checking my email 24 hours, and especially at around 11:45 p.m., I would be asleep, right? And even if I'm, if not, I would be, doing something, and I can't watch, my email 24 hours. So then, if you send me email, almost, 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the deadline, and saying, Professor, I have a problem, it's not going to do any good. Use your good sense, right? That's why I'm giving you like 3-day window. That's why I'm giving you a 3-day window. You should contact me early on. Get a head start and contact me if you have a technical problem. Contact me early on. Otherwise, there's no way anything can be done, right? Because after the deadline, it cannot be reset. Okay, I can only reset it if I discover your email early enough or soon enough. You understand? If you are,
Yes, Professor.
yeah,
So,
please keep
can
that in
I?
mind. Yeah.
Okay. So, can I ask you about the form of the exam? It's gonna be like a circle or like the homework we
Well,
did?
look, yeah, it's exactly like the homework.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a multiple choice, but it's a multiple choice, but you gotta know how to do Excel. You gotta know how to do it exactly. You are taught in class. Otherwise, and there have been, some people have done it completely, despite all these videos, pre-recorded lecture videos, and uh, updating of, posting of, daily sessions, every day, and then, previews, some people completely, I don't know, they are not into this class, the only thing that can explain this is that they are not in this class. So they do it completely differently, and then they do it in their own way. A lot of it is just verbiage. I told you this class is not about verbiage. Eliminate all verbiage, okay? Eliminate all verbiage And this class is about the architectural efficiency. I mean, the model must be an architectural masterpiece, an architectural uh, an architectural product. You don't write everything. You don't verbally, explain everything, because who has time for that? But some people really, really, put everything, um, and then that only means only one thing. They don't watch anything. They don't follow this class, and then just try to do it like some correspondence class. No way, you can't do it that way. And some people, I guess, and some people even, copy whatever, resource they can. There's, I'm not gonna even get to that, but they just copy this, verbiage from some other source. Even, take a, copy and paste the screen grab of, somebody else's solution, which is wrong. Anyway, so I'm not gonna. So unless there's any further questions, let me keep doing. Right. So here's the. Remember, if this is already over actually, but because through homework 2, this was already done. But homework 2 is quite limited because the book is limited. The book has a lot of limitations. So let's go to a present value of annuities, because you would understand that because if there is future value of annuities, there is certainly present value of annuities. Now I'm not going to go over this because it's already done in the lecture videos, original lecture videos. But I want, so just want to mention, and I'm not going to show you the process of, derivation. On Thursday, I gave you actually, how future value of annuity formula is derived. And if you watched, and there was only one person during the collaborate session on Thursday. So I hope everybody else has, supplemented it by August 5th video session of recording. Now, so present value of annuity is basically, literally the present value of the annuity payments or deposits that you're going to receive over the next, 5 years or 4 years, in the future. And this is the ordinary annuity, present value of ordinary annuity. And if you're receiving $5,000 at the end of every year, right? And if the prevailing market interest rate is 10%. Now, the reason we are talking about the prevailing market interest rate is because it is the discount rate. You use that market rate to discount. Think about it. If the prevailing market interest rate is 10%, that means, if the bank on average pays you 10% interest, if you put $10,000 in the bank for 5 years, what's it going to be in the future? Well, of course, we know it's a single cash flow model, right? So it's 10,000 times 1.1 raised to 5, right? And if you do that, that future value will be, if it is, let me quickly, so let's see what it's going to be like. Let me try this. Oh no. Let me do this here. Just 10%. Let's do it here. 10%, 5 years. And it's going to be, 16,105, right? It's going to be 16,105. So if that is, let's say something you are entitled to receive in 5 years, right? Forget about the deposit. You don't have any deposit, but you're going to receive this money in 5 years. So consider that like a bond. You're going to receive, you have a bond, right? That will mature in 5 years, right? And in 5 years, it's going to be, 16,105, right? So you have to hold it until until the end of year 5, and then you can redeem this amount. But let's say someone is asking you to sell it, right? Let's say someone is offering you money, and normally if you're not in urgent need of any cash, you don't sell it. But if the price is right, you're willing to sell it. Then how much would you sell it for? Mm-hmm. The idea is, we know what is the present value of this. Present value of this is 10,000. So you won't sell it for any amount below 10,000. Why? Because only if you receive 10,000 or more, right? Think about it. You can put it in the bank, and if you receive 10,000, you put it in the bank, and currently the market rate is, prevailing rate is 10%. And from now on, 5 years later, you will get exactly this. In other words, you won't sell something that is worth 16,105 5 years from now. You won't sell it for anything less than $10,000 today. Does that make sense? That's why that's present value. And the reason 10% is the discount rate is, if you're looking at it, if you're looking at this as a future value from today's 10,000, right? Then it's interest rate. But if you're doing the reverse process, right? If you're solving for the present value, right? If you're solving for the present value, if this is known, this solving for the present value, what 10% will exactly, 10% will exactly, by discounting this by 10%, that will give you exactly 10,000, right? Does that make sense? So that's why it is, called, discount rate. Discount rate is basically interest rate, but depending on whether you are discounting it or compounding it, right? When you are discounting it, it's called discount rate. Okay. So again, so back here, So this one is, this picture is showing you present value of ordinary annuity. And again, where is it? This diagram is to just to show you the concept. Basically, it's discounting everything, right? Discounting all these, payments back to time zero, right? But you understand, you can't do this. You can't do it if we have a longer time frame. I mean, this is a very simplified version, right? Because we have only 5 years, 5 payments. But if we have longer time frame, you can't do it this way, right? And this is a present value of annuity due because the payment is made at the beginning, right? So we need reduced form, and the reduced form is this. This is how you find present value of annuities. Again, I'm not going to show you how the formula is derived. I showed it on last Thursday. It's basically a similar process. Now, if this is present value of ordinary annuity, present value of annuity due can be written this way, but which is nothing but now think about it. If I factor out payment, if I just factor out payment, they are basically the same formula. I factor out the payment and combine the denominator by taking the common denominator between the two. Okay. Actually, it's LCM, not common denominator. Common multiplier, or whatever you call it. But I can think about it. If I take out payment, if I factor out payment, all of them will become 1, right? The numerators will become 1, isn't it right? And if then to unify, right? To unify, I must to unify the denominator. I must multiply the left-hand side by 1 plus r to the n, right? But you understand, I can't do it only to the denominator. I must do it also on the numerator as well, okay? So the denominator will be unified like this, and the numerator will, this one gets, remember, after factoring out payment, it's 1, right? Numerators are 1. And since I'm, multiplying 1 plus r to the n to both denominator and numerator, this one will become r to the n. And nothing changes here because it was 1 after factoring out payment, right? And then up to that point, this formula and this formula are the same thing, right? I simply factored out payment. And then, why do I have 1 plus r? Remember, the only difference between the ordinary annuity and annuity due is just one more compounding. So you saw that in the future value of annuity. So I did, 1 plus r there, one more compounding. But again, this is actually one less discounting. One more compounding is the same thing as one less discounting because this and this will cancel out. But you cannot cancel out all of 1 plus r to the n. This will go down by 1. N will go down by 1. Because if this is 1 plus r raised to 10, 10th power, and you multiply it by 1 plus r, because it's in the denominator and this is in the numerator, this will cancel out 1 of that 1 plus r, right? So then it will go down to 9th power. So that's, 1 less discounting. So that's why I'm saying 1 more compounding is the same thing as 1 less discounting. Okay? So that is the reduced form. And when do we use present value of annuities? So here, one of the very common example is lottery. Of course, lottery is not something that happens, every once in a while. But let's take a look at this example. You won $10 million lottery. You have 2 options. That's number 2. Something's not right here. That's number 2. You have 2 options. Receive either lump sum of $6 million after tax today, or $20,000 every month for the next 30 years. Yes, that's annuity. If you receive $20,000 every month for the next 30 years, that's annuity. Now this is very close to the realistic scenario. Of course, winning the lottery is not very realistic, but if you win the lottery, you have 2 payout options. One, cash lump sum today, or annuities. And if you choose a lump sum cash, they take out almost 39% for tax. And this is because this is a windfall gain. In other words, this is not an earned income. If you win a lottery, it's not an earned income, right? You didn't earn it. You were just lucky, so they tax at the highest rate. Oh, that's why that's close to 40%. So out of 10 million, about 6 million, you get 60%. Or otherwise, you get the annuities, and in reality, they pay out. The annuity time frame is like 29 years, 29. So that's roughly 30 years. So I used 30. So then our question is, currently the prevailing interest rate is 6%. Why prevailing interest rate? Because that's the discount rate. They gave you a discount rate. So what say you? That means so what option do you take? Do you take lump sum, or do you take annuity? And then the question is simple. How do you compare today's 6 million with all these annuities over 20K annuities over the next 360 months? Right? It's 20K every month. So there will be 360 months of that. Right? So the question is, which one is better? And most of you will just say, oh, cash lump sum. And if I ask why, they will say, I want to have the money, right now, or I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, that's 30 years. I may not live to enjoy all that money. Look, of course, nobody knows. You're still very young, but who knows? I mean, you may not be around anymore in 2 or 3 years. There can be natural disaster. There can be, pandemic. I mean, God forbid, hope this is. But some people, especially in southern states, they don't take vaccination. They resist to take. There's no guarantee, right? Of course, they might say, there's no guarantee even if after, vaccination. I mean, because Delta variant, Lambda variants, because of all these variants, vaccines may be useless. Now, at least, you stand a better chance with after vaccination. You stand a better chance than without. It goes without saying. You just need to be very careful. But the world is crazy. Why are the young people so crazy to go out and socialize? And is this the time? Is this the time to socialize? This is like this is like war, right? It's like biochemical warfare, biohazard warfare, right? If the enemy has spread, who knows, right? If the some hostile regime has started all this as part of bio warfare, hazard warfare. Spread, there was anthrax years ago, many years ago. There was anthrax attack to. So if this is you got to consider this as a quasi war, state of quasi war, Then, if you're in state of war, all those things can be, put to the back seat, right? Why do you have to go out, clubbing and going to the concerts, and that can be put to the back seat, right? The priority is your safety, your own safety. But anyway, people who are careless and imprudent, they just still think they can live in normalcy like before. Now, the new normal, obviously, the new normal is not the old normal, right? The normalcy that was, the normalcy we were living in 3 years ago is no longer a normalcy, right? So if you, take necessary precautions, then you won't die. But some people always say, what if I die and, I want to have that money. I mean, so then, just because you don't know if you're going to still, be alive 3 years from now, you have to spend all that $6 million today, huh? That's just, not a rational thinking. I mean, we all based on, we plan our future based on some, average life expectancy, right? Unless you are living a reckless life, right? Unless you're living a reckless life, you're not gonna, you won't be, those outliers in the statistics. You will be just, around the mean of the statistics. So you will live until you're, if the average life expectancy in the U.S. is like 82, you will live up to 82, right? Most probably. And based on that, so that's why, you can consider comparing these annuities with 6 million. But, some people say, if it is $20,000 every month, so that's 20,000 times 360. If you do that, it will come to 7.2 million. But again, look, you can't. Then you might say, those people will just they are just simple-minded people. They are simpletons. They think, you know, they can compare today's 6 million with that 7.2 million. Look, those numbers are not directly comparable. Why? First of all, 6 million, if you choose to receive lump sum 6 million, that's today's 6 million. It's the present value. It's the present value by itself. But that 7.2 million is a number that doesn't exist today, or that doesn't exist 30 years from now. It's just a number that is, you know, it doesn't exist at a single point in time. It's just a 20,000 that's spread over next 360 months across, you know, next 360 months, just simply multiplied by, you know, 20K multiplied by that 360. So that number, 7.2 million, doesn't exist as a single number at a single point in time. So then, isn't it obvious you cannot make direct comparison, right? So if you say, oh, that's 7.2 million, it's better. No, we don't know that. So how do we compare? You learned what the present value is. So you find the present value of all those future annuities, 20K annuities, right? And then it's present value. So you compare that 6 million with the present value of those annuities. Whichever is greater wins out. That's your, you know, option. Okay, that's what you pick. Now, another example, you consider financing a $30,000 car for 5 years with 20% down payment. The prevailing APR is 6%, so that's the discount rate. The dealership says that your monthly payment is $500. Is this a good deal or bad deal? Well, how do you determine it? Now think about it. If your monthly car payment is $500, right? And you're gonna make this payment for how long? For the next 5 years. 5 years is 60 months, so you're gonna make 60 payments of these $500 payments, 60 of these 500 payments. So these annuity payments are in the future for the next 60 months. So it's going to be just like this picture, right? You're making these, you know, payments either at the beginning of each month or at the end of each month. Actual payment date may not be, you know, the first day of the month or the last. It could be anywhere in the middle of the month. But, you know, the point is, it's either annuity due or ordinary annuity. And the question is, you know, also then, you know, if you find the present value of all those annuities, you can compare it with what? Do you compare it with, you know, 30K? No. You made, you know, 20% down payment. So actually what you borrowed is 30K minus 20% down payment. Down 20% of 30K is 6K. So actually the financed amount, loan amount is 24K. So then is this 24K, is this present value of all those annuity payments, all those 500, is the present value, is it greater than or less than 24K, right? If the present value of all those $500, all those, you know, monthly payments, if that is greater than 24K, then what can you say? Oh, then, you know, you are paying more than what you owe, right? If the present value of all those $500, 60 of them, if the present value of that is, right, greater than 24K, you are paying more than what you owe. So then it's a bad deal. If the present value of all those $500 monthly payments are less than 24K, that's a good deal for you, right? So you can make these, comparisons, and that's what we are gonna do here. Okay, so this is exactly, look, this is exactly that car payment example. Car payment example, isn't that right? Monthly payment is 500, APR 6%, 5 years. M is 12, because it's monthly. Then what do you need to do first? You gotta have to find, what is the periodic rate. Monthly, it should be 0.5. And of course, we know N is 60 because there are, it's obvious, 12 times 6, right? There you go. And then using this formula, right? We're gonna find out what's the present value of all those annuities. So it's payment over R. This is the R, not this, right? Periodic rate minus payment over, open parenthesis, R times 1 plus R raised to N. Oops, what did I do? N. And there you go. Check if that formula is okay, correct. There you go. What do you get? 25. It's more than 25K. So what does that mean? Oh, you're paying more than what you owe. Why? Because what you owe is only 24K, right? That's the borrowed amount. So this is a bad deal. And if it is present value of annuity due, in that case, I've been telling you, it's just one more compounding than present value of annuity. So one more compounding. So I simply recycled this result, right? And then just gave it one more compounding. Okay. Now then, the next question, this one, what is this? This is the that lottery example, because you're getting 20K every month, right? Assuming 6% APR, and you're going to get it over 30 years. So I don't have to, do it all over again. All I need is just simply drag it down, and I will see, the present value of all those annuities are only, something's not right. You're getting 20K, not 200,000. You're getting 20K, right? So yeah, and then the present value of all of that is 3.335 million. So 3.335 million. And what is our decision criteria? Well, if this present value of all these annuities are greater than 6 million, which is lump sum today, then you go for the present annuities, because if present value of annuity is greater. If it is not, then you go for the lump sum. And so we go for the lump sum because the present value of all those annuities are much smaller than the 6 million. But again, it all depends on the discount rate. I mean, if the interest rate is this high, I mean, by today's standards, 6% is, that's unthinkable. I mean, there's no, when was the time when the interest rate was, like 6%? Early 2000, like 2005, 2006, the time leading to right before the financial crisis. So about 2007, 2006, it was about 6%. But then, we haven't seen this kind of rate since the financial crisis. And even we don't even get 1%. But, let's say CD, if you these days CDs don't pay even 1%. But, let's say if you can, CD prevailing rate in the CD market is 1%, and using that as the discount rate, then if you try that, okay, then what say you? It's 6.218 million, so this is greater than 6 million. So you go for the annuities, not for lump sum, right? But what about, again, another example? If you're getting 50, if you're getting it over 50 years, of course, if you're getting it over 50 years, I don't think you're going to get, 20K a month. You might probably get, 10K a month. Maybe, how about, let's try this. Okay, let's see. And if, so the longer, think about it. Two factors that affect the present value of annuities is interest rate and time, right? As interest rate goes down, the discount rate goes down, the present value goes up, right? You might wonder, how come when interest rate goes down, why does that go up? Shouldn't, look, this is, this is a fraction, right? Interest rate is working at the bottom in the denominator. Interest rate is working at the bottom. So if it's, basically, I probably mentioned something about the, think about it. And if this goes down, right? Right, whatever makes the whatever makes the the whole thing, whatever makes the denominator go down, payment is constant, but whatever makes the denominator go down, the whole fraction will go up. Does that make sense? Okay. So whatever makes the denominator go down, the whole fraction goes up, right? So that's why. And then what about time? The higher the time, the longer the time. Think about it. That means the longer the time, right? Where is my? The longer the time, right? The denominator will go up because, r times 1 plus r raised to n, right? Because as n goes up, this denominator goes up, right? But as the denominator goes up, this fraction will go down, right? As the denominator goes up, this fraction will go down. This term will go down. But this term is not affected. As this goes down, it gets smaller, it shrinks. So from this, the smaller amount is taken out, so the whole thing goes up, right? So that's the rationale behind it. Okay, that's just the logical reasoning. It's not really. And we can think about 50 years under two different assumptions. One, a 6% APR, 1% APR, and if you drag it down, you'll find this is not obviously this is not good. You would go for lump sum, right? Still, this is not good enough. You'll go for lump sum, right? Okay, so this is basically how we how we find the present value of annuities, but also there for this problem, right? For the car problem, right? Car payment problem, right? Car payment problem. Let's say we can nail it in a different way. In other words, we can nail it with so think about it. Again, if you're thinking about this problem, you can also first we thought about it by checking whether the present value of all those annuities is greater than or less than the amount, the loan amount. Another way is you can directly nail the payment, right? You can directly nail the payment. You understand? Directly nail the payment. Instead of whether a $500 payment is the correct instead of wondering if the present value is greater or less than the amount you owe, you can also directly check if $500 monthly payment is the correct amount or not. Okay, so to do that, now think about it. It's not a difficult thing. Why? Because I've been telling you, the formula can be summarized this way. Isn't that right? The formula can be summarized this way. It's the result already, so let me remember. Okay, I'm gonna have to write the formula. Okay. So I'll use the I'm gonna move it to a better place later. Well, this is a bit, if you're an economist or if you do something related to math, this is nothing new, or you may better get familiarized with the equation editor, because this is something you'll do for living, and it may look quite complicated right now, but not really. I mean, once you get the hang of it, actually I love it. It's just that it's a little, it gets to be a little tedious, but between someone who can do this, oh no, that's I just yeah. Between someone who's capable of doing this and someone who is not, what do you think as a of course, depending on the you might depending on the type of kind of job, but if you are doing a more like a quantitative quantitative job, and quantitative jobs are the ones that have huge demand, because the such talent and such skill are rare to find, right? Anyway, so this is the formula for present value of annuities, right? But then think about it. Our unknown is now this, right? Why? This one is known. We know this is 24K. And right, it's 24K. And all the rest is known, right? All the rest is known. We know R, we know that, we know N. So our question is, what's the payment, right? Then it's not difficult. I've been telling you over and over. What is the this is 0.5%, and this is N is 60, right? And I've been telling you, no matter how complex any equation may look, right? As long as you can identify what structure, as long as you can identify what, as long as you can identify Z equals X times Y structure, right? And if, you can solve for X if X is the unknown. And isn't it obvious, can you identify that structure here? Yes. This is Z, this is X, and this whole thing is Y, right? Then I want to find payment. So how do you do that? I divide this by this, right? And if you do that, the result is this. I already put it down there, right? This is X, this is Z, and you might wonder, oh, then why? Let's see. Thickness is the same. Or, let's try this. So this is X. This is Z. And you might wonder, oh, shouldn't we divide by Y? Why is it multiplied? It's not multiplied. It's, look, what happened? This is Y. This is Y. And this is what? The reciprocal or the inverse of Y. Y to the negative 1. Now think about it. You all know, right? Don't you know that? I'm sure you know. You understand. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the inverse or the reciprocal of that fraction, right? The reciprocal, you should know by now that something raised to negative 1 is the reciprocal, right? So that way we can nail the exact payment, and you should get the same result, same conclusion. So let's find out if our payment is, so using that formula, right? Payment equals PVA times what is the numerator? R times 1 plus R to the n is the numerator. R times, and you might wonder, don't we need to put it into the bracket? No, it's not necessary, because when you multiply to a fraction, anyway, when you multiply something to a fraction, anyway, it gets multiplied only to the numerator. So that's the numerator. So that, and a bracket is not necessary. And I told you in Excel, in the formula, bracket and parenthesis, they are all the same. You don't have bracket. It's just, parenthesis. So we don't need outer parenthesis. But in the bottom, in the denominator, you need the outer bracket, because it's, inside there's 1 plus R is to n, and then minus 1, and you gotta close the parenthesis for the entire denominator. And if you do that, that's the correct monthly payment. Now, what does that mean? The correct monthly payment is only $464, right? $464. So what does that mean? You've been overcharged by about $40 every month, right? Does that make sense? So this is basically, what is, how you use, present value of annuities to nail the correct payment. And there are other, several other formulas, for example, finding R. And I've been telling you, in case of, annuities, there's no unique, single unique formula for finding rate. So you'll have to use the rate function in Excel's, built-in function, Excel's function. But I've been telling you, some people use, Excel's built-in function in the homework, but I only demonstrated in connection. I only demonstrated it only for the uh, rate in the future value of annuities, and it's basically a financial calculator. Um, and some people actually manually entered numbers, and I've been telling you about so many times about I warned against hard coding. If you enter numbers there, you cannot copy and paste because the hard number is already in there. You cannot adjust to the new environment, new problem environment. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I'm talking about architectural efficiency. And still some people don't get it. Of course, some people will never get it. It's that architectural efficiency, that's something that never enter their mind. Just don't understand anything, just don't see. Look, I'm not doing this at random. It's got you see, it's got its own structure. The structure is what? Huh? This is the structure. There is an architectural structure. What is that architectural structure? You see, no matter, once I solve this, right, and they are all, these labels are the variables, right? And of course, this is the solution cell. Once I have solved for one problem, and these problems all have the same structure, just different inputs, right? And simply by, organizing it this way, and then you can copy and, simply drag it down. And all these problems are automatically handled in a single shot. This is the structural efficiency. And it is only possible because I did soft coding. There's data table, and the formula points to the input variable, input data that the formula, wants. You understand? That way, if you don't do it like this, if you enter manually, you enter manually, 500 here, enter manually, 0.5 here, how can you, it cannot be copied and pasted. You understand? Because it will always be that hard-coded number. And not being able to grasp this even until now, that simply reveals the what? The lack of lack of intellect there. Because I have been emphasizing this over and over. And you've had, at the first homework, at the end of the first homework, of course, if you did the first homework and if you got the graded homework back, you would know. If you read it, some people never read. I've been telling you it took me a lot of time and effort to comment your homework. I really, literally, it's a very stressful job. It's a very stressful job because you have to really examine and inspect everything. And some people don't even make any sense. And for some people, there's no uniform structure. There's no structure. Everything is just strewn all over, everywhere, without any structural clue which one is connected, which cell is connected to which, and where did that number come from? There's no clue to anything like that. So there's complete absence. There's complete lack of structure, any structure. People who cannot do structural thinking are not very intelligent people. Obviously, if you do something, don't you want to have some kind of system? A system organizes things, in a neat way. A system organizes and the system will give a structure. And people who do things without systematic thinking, that's a problem. That's why, that's why you never get a good job, or you never, get promoted. That's why you never rise up through rank and file, because you lack that systematic thinking. And this class is all about teaching that systematic thinking. But then, if you are not capable of that, then it's only natural that you fail this class. And there are people who are so unwilling to learn. And then, I can't help you if you're not willing to learn. I can't help you. You just, you're just wasting my time as well as your own. Structural efficiency, right? Systematic thinking, structural efficiency. And architectural efficiency. The structure is an architecture is, a structure is basically built based on the architectural concept. And the architectural concept must convey some kind of systematic reasoning behind it. And so this will be the last session about the time value of money. I'm not gonna, and there are, so as I said, rate, there's no single unique formula for rate. You have to use Excel's built-in function. But as far as the formula for finding n, this is the formula for finding n. This is the steps of derivation. From this, right? I use I transform that. From this, I had to transform, right? If I factor out payment over R, right, it becomes this, and then, through the transformation, I arrive at this. Okay? Again, this is, what I found on the internet, but, the way it is done here is more complicated. I mean, it's the same thing, but, it's more complicated. So I want to move on to amortization. So what is an amortization? Amortization is basically, paying down your debt. Now, if you think about it, um, the car payment example is a very good example of amortization because in reality, so far we have assumed that if you have $10,000, if you borrow $10,000, we have been assuming that uh, if you borrow $10,000 at 10% interest rate for 5 years, uh, we have assumed that we pay back the future value. We pay back the future value at the end of year 5, right? That has been our assumption. If you have, if you borrow 10,000 at 10% for 5 years, at the end, 5 years later, at the end of year 5, you pay back the full future value. But is that the reality? Is that the reality? I think I still have four people. Are you listening? Jimena, are you there? Jimena, are you there? Monique. Oh, thank you. But I asked Monique, you're still here, okay? Was that just simply responding to me, or did you have any question, Monique? Monique, did you have any question?
No questions, just responding.
Okay. All righty, thank you. Jimena, are you still here, Jimena? No. Monique, you can. I asked for. I called out Jimena. Okay, you can lower your hand. Jimena, are you here? I lost Jimena. Sarah, are you here? Sarah?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, all right, thank you. You are here. And Christopher, are you here? Are you here? Okay, thank you. So you guys are listening, I believe. You're still, I hope still you're listening. Okay, so the reason the reason I went back to this single cash flow model is that in reality, no, this is not the case. Why? Think about it. If you borrowed $10,000 for 5 years, does the lender wait for you to pay back in 5 years? Is that the reality? You would all understand that's not the reality. In reality, no lender waits 5 years or 10 years for you to come up with the future value, right? So what is it like in reality? In reality, just like the car payment example, what was the car payment example? You financed your car. The car is $30,000. You made a down payment, 20% down. So the financed amount, borrowed amount, is 24K, and this 24K, they don't wait 5 years. Just like this, they want you to make monthly payments, right? So that's called amortization. So amortization is also called paying down the debt, because that paying down means not, it's different from down payment. Paying down means the principal balance is going down. As you make the payment, principal balance is going down. So just like this picture, right? As you make the payment, right, and the principal balance is going down, and the structure of the payment. So this graph is not doing the justice, because it's not the it looks like so the height of this bar is the monthly payment. Here in this example, the monthly payment is $699, so that's the height of this bar, and this is the composition. It's the mix-up. It's the composition of this monthly payment. You remember in the U.S. rule, right? In the simple interest rate example, if you make $600 partial payment, it has to break down into principal and interest. Just like that, principal and if $699, almost $700, is the monthly payment, then it consists of it breaks down into interest and principal. Okay, and early on, right? It's mostly interest. It's mostly interest. And as time goes by, the interest gets smaller, interest portion gets smaller and smaller, and the principal portion gets bigger and bigger. And it only makes sense because the principal goes down. As principal goes down, the interest is on the principal balance, right? As the principal balance goes down, the interest portion gets smaller, you know. So out of this, monthly amount, monthly payment, the rest of it will be the principal, right? So the principal balance goes down, accelerates, right? The shrinking of the principal balance accelerates as time goes on, right? But then, in this graph, it looks like, look, they cannot be on the same axis. First of all, one thing is, if this is $700, this height of the bar is $700, and look, with 360 payments left, it's 251,000, almost 252,000. How can be this? So that means that at time 0, it is 252,000. How can the height be the same? So the height cannot be the same. So the left axis is, the principal balance is measured by the left axis. Axis is different. In other words, in the left axis, this is like 252, but in the right axis, this is only like $700. So they follow the different axis, right? So this is basically what amortization is, and then to do that example, let's use exactly the car payment example. Okay. So I'm gonna just delete everything. Delete everything. So I want you to have this. You must have this file in front of you, right? When I'm doing this, you must have this file in front of you. Okay. So this is amortization schedule. Amortization schedule is, remember, it's like the U.S. rule, the partial payment. In that example, we had only like a couple of partial payments, but it's like that. But think about it. This is, in our example, there are 60 of them, right? Why? Because you're making monthly payments, right? Monthly payments of what? 463. Remember, in our car payment example, this is your monthly payment. You got to make 60 of them, right? And that's exactly 24K. So I'm gonna first, in this column A, I enter payment number, and if you just enter 1, 2, 3, Excel knows and highlight those 3 numbers, 3 cells, and drag it down until you reach 60. And as you drag down, small box appears to the left of the column A, and see, it was showing 60. You stop there. That means, you know, Excel, basically Excel is smart. It knows what your intention is, because your intention is to put numbers that have interval of 1, right? So as you put 1 to 3, the interval between the numbers is 1. So Excel automatically understands your intention, and it replicates everything. Next. And I want to, let's see, just to, let me hide those rows so that I can be right below the data, right? And then I'm going to freeze pane, meaning, you know, as I scroll down or up, I won't lose, you know, these, you know, I won't lose the view of these cells. Okay. Also, as I scroll to the right, I won't lose, you know, the view of column A. So here, every month, I'm going to be making this payment, right? The payment every month is going to be that. And so I lock it by hitting F4, because that's going to be, that way I can drag it down and it will still be. Okay. And at the bottom, I already entered auto sum, so it's going to sum everything. So sum of all these payments, 60 of them, 60 monthly payments, sum of that is this. Of course, we pay more than, you know, in nominal total sum we pay more, but the present value of all of that should be exactly 24. Okay. Now interest paid. So what is the what's the interest in the first month? Interest rate is this, isn't it right? And I gotta lock it because that's the interest rate every month. But against I pay 0.5% interest against what? If you say, oh, 0.5% of this, no, you're wrong. Why? Because interest is what? You pay interest on what? You pay interest on your principal balance. Isn't it right? You pay interest on your principal balance. And the principal balance in the first month is what? This is the principal balance. Isn't it right? That's the principal balance in the first month. So, yes, because in the first month you have you haven't paid anything yet. So you have the whole 24K as your principal balance. There you go. That is the interest. Well, what's the, you know, out of this payment, what's the principal paid? Of course, it's the difference between the two. It goes without saying, right? That's the principal paid. Then, how much does the principal balance go down? After making this payment, since out of this is the principal paid, so the principal balance goes down by as much as this. Okay, in the second month, I'm not going to drag it down just yet. I'm only going to drag it down to, and obviously to the second month, and obviously something's not right. It cannot be the same thing. And the reason is E24 is correct because, you know, that's what it should point to. But G24, there is nothing in G24 because, you know, I collapsed the rows between 24 and 26, and there was nothing there. But as I drag down, it's pointing to G24. Well, there was nothing, so that's why it's gonna still point to the same thing. But actually, think about it. Principal balance after the first interest is paid on the principal balance. The principal balance after the first month is this, right? Then that's it. And the principal paid is the difference between the two. Okay, and the principal balance goes down, should go down, not from G24 where there is nothing, but from this it goes down by as much as this, right? And there you go. We are home free now, and as you drag it down, then look. How do you confirm? How do you verify if it is correct? By the end of month 60, you should have zero balance. Isn't it right? And look at the sum. Sum of all the principal paid is 24K. All the principal paid sums up to 24K. So that's exactly, that means we paid off our principal. And the difference between the all the payments and this, it's exactly the interest. And this is sum of all the interest. Sum of all the interest. That's exactly the difference between the two. So that means, so it checks out. Our model checks out. Our amortization schedule checks out. So let's see. So I'll put it in the oh no. Oops. Oh yeah. No. I'm gonna do it like. Again, all right, it's hard to put it. I think I heard a. I think I heard some ding, which is like a. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna put a border around it, but rather I'm gonna put it like this. Okay, that way, right? We have a nice model, a nice amortization schedule. All right, so it sounds like there was someone with a question. Someone raised a hand or something. No, I don't see anybody raising, All right, so any questions so far? Any questions so far? Anyone? All righty, so if you don't have any questions, then we'll call it a day here. So good luck with your midterm. Don't forget, it's due, if you have any technical difficulty, you gotta send me email at least one day ahead. Otherwise, I can't fix it, right? If you email me like, within the last hour, last 2 hours, chances are it's not gonna get resolved, okay? So you gotta get a head start, all right? That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Nobody says goodbye. Huh?